Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Nik Nikam. Welcome to Triple N Talk Show. And this is Wednesday, February 24, 2016. And we are coming to you live on YouTube under our channel Nik Nikam and also Google Plus. While we are talking about YouTube, we would like to, first of all, download our app for Android or Apple devices, which is NNN Media. And we would also like you to visit our YouTube channel, which is Nik Nikam, where we have more than 800 videos and more than 700,000 views. We have the largest collection of Indian experience here in the Houston area, and all our talk shows are live video streamed to YouTube on every Wednesday between 6 and 7 p.m. If you'd like to be a guest on our program, give us a call at 281-745-4161. We would also like you to visit our Facebook page, which is Nik Nikam Network, where we keep you abreast of what's happening in and around the Houston area. And today we're going to be talking about art and humanity. And my special guest is Gopaal Seyn, and he is an artist from India. He has settled here in Houston area. We're going to talk about his life experience, his life journey, about art, and his contribution to good causes here in the city, and combining art and humanity. And we're going to talk a lot about. And another interesting thing I am excited about today is I went to University of Houston to pick up my media pass for the Republican convention, which is going to be coming up tomorrow. I'm more interested in trying to find out what are the things that are happening behind the scenes. I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store. I want to know exactly how the candy is made. More so than. Okay, Gopaal Seyn, welcome to Triple N Talk Show. We are delighted to have you. First of all, let's start off with a little bit about your background. Then we'll get into art and your life journey in art and service to humanity.
Well, Dr. Nikam, first I want to thank you for the opportunity and being at your show. I've been thinking of joining the show for a long time, but thank you for letting me be here today. To start off in my background, again, I started off very early as an artist, but as you know, parents want you to become a doctor or engineer or something like that. So I did my bachelor's in physics, and then I did my hotel and restaurant management from India. I got a scholarship to come to this country. I did my master's in hospitality administration.
Lift your chair up. There's a handle there. You can lift it up a little.
Yeah.
Oh, the other way. Okay, that's better. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So I came to this country, and I started working in the hospitality industry, and I've been working there. But I always wanted to teach art.
I see.
And that's how I started. I started teaching art. I went to Michael's store and said, "Can you let me do some art?" And he said, "Have you taught kids art?" And I'm like, "Never did."
Yeah.
So they saw my work and they loved it, and they gave me a chance. And that's how it started. And as I started teaching art, I started painting all the more myself. And people said, "Wow, you're pretty good. Why don't you become a professional?" And I didn't have that kind of a belief in me at that point. I always felt, I'm just an artist. But then, you know what, when I started doing more and more, I was getting a lot of, people started approaching me, wanted to buy my art. And I said, "Wow, maybe I have something in me. Let me try it out." And again, I've been blessed. Usually, as you know, most artists go through a very starving period, struggling period. But people accepted me very fast in the community, and I started doing shows around. And then when I did a show in Las Vegas and I sold 21 art, then I said, "Wow, I must be doing something right." So I said, let me start doing that in a more serious way. And that's how it started. And I started doing a lot of, charity work, as you were saying, out here in the Houston community. And, I was well accepted by the community. And so I'm blessed. Again, I'm teaching art as well as living my dream. So that's been a great move for me.
Fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam. And my special guest is Gopaal Seyn. He is an artist, and as you can see in the background, we have some of his art pictures, which will be flashing from time to time. And we're going to go in depth about his art experience and all these things. And this is coming to you live on YouTube. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Nik Nikam. Okay. At what age did you start your art?
Well, I started at a very tender age of 4.
I see. Yeah.
I started like I used to draw all the time, like just like any kid. As Picasso says that every child is an artist. The
Yeah.
challenge is
That's true.
being an artist when you grow up. So I had the knack. My sister was a great artist, so I used to watch her,
Yeah.
and I would kind of follow her around and kind of do that. But it's like I started doing like some shows in school, and I got some people started liking it, but never took it that
Yeah.
seriously. Like art was a love, but as I said, I got drifted away to other things, but I kept on drawing
Yeah.
in a more amateurish way. And but art was my love of my life. And but at those days it was very hard to get a living as an
I know.
artist.
That's true.
So dad said, like you'll be a starving artist, you want to be all your life, so why don't you focus on your profession and then go back to your passion? And that's what I did. So I'm glad I've become a professional, and now I'm doing art at a later age, so it gives me a lot more leverage to work on.
So, at what uh, age did it become like a more serious endeavor?
Well, it became serious endeavor only in US.
I see.
When I came here and I was in Rhode Island, and they used to be RISD, Rhode Island School of Design.
Yeah.
Again, I went there, but they were very expensive. I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
So I said I couldn't afford that. So there was I used
Yeah.
to draw and paint like when I was at home, and I would do a lot of work out there. And people gave me a little bit of. I would go there. Actually, one of the students of RISD used to be my roommate, so I
Yeah.
would kind of follow him what he
Yeah.
was doing, and I would get ideas, and he would like very generously give me a lot of ideas. So with that in
I
mind,
see. Yeah.
I would like get some say passively learn from him, and
Yeah.
that's how it started all of it.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Gopaal Seyn. We are talking about his art. What particular style of art do you specialize in? Some
Well,
people have like pencil sketch, oil painting, canvas painting. I don't even know how many different kinds of arts are there.
well, I've tried different style. Sketching is part of me. I always sketch when I travel extensively, almost like 150 to 180 nights a year.
Yeah.
So when I'm on a plane, I'm always sketching, and people are like, wow, he just created it right now. So I do those kind of sketch work, and because those are spontaneous works, it allows me to kind of use my subconscious to create those works.
Yeah.
Because in true creativity, you cannot use your conscious mind to create.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you let your subconscious take over, you let your universal, intelligence take over and create spontaneous action. And that is true creativity to me. And then when I come back home, I would kind of use that as a foundation and put it in my canvas. And I usually do in acrylic. I've done a lot of works in oil. Over the years, I have done a lot of like portraits and stuff like that for people. But you know what? I was doing it for that person. I never enjoyed that. I realized I need to create something of my own.
Yeah.
And then as I kind of started working on it, a signature style came in.
Yeah.
And that's and what happened, Dr. Nikam, is that I never got any formal education in art.
Yeah.
So I realized to become a true artist, I need to study up on. So I took numerous, I started reading up on the classical artists and the Flemish artists, and the Dalis of the world, and Picasso and Van Gogh and Gauguin. So I was studying all of them and was trying to realize what made them famous, what made them like great artists. And I realized the first main thing was that you got to be original.
Yeah.
You got to create your own signature, because everybody is unique, and you cannot kind of copy on somebody else to become a great artist.
Yeah.
So that's why art today sells for millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Why? Because it is a form of creativity which is very, very original.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them unique. And that's what I am trying to do, is to kind of use the Western style of art and bring the Indian form of art, which we are very proud of. Like,
we have thousands of years of art,
exactly,
architectural history.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we have not promoted ourselves very well in this country. We have the best of doctors, best of engineers, best of scientists, but we have hardly, any Indian-born American artists. And I'm trying to, kind of slowly get into that field, that niche market, because I think I'm a unique, like, person out there, because there are not very many out there.
Yeah, just before we started, you talked about A.R. Rahman, where how he combined the Western music with the Indian classical music to win the Oscar. I mean, we have such rich cultural heritage. I think it's just a matter of getting it exposed to the rest of the world.
And that is exactly what I'm trying to do, is that I've studied extensively on Western style. And again, being from Bengal, which I'm very proud of, I was born in a family, in a culture where art was like, day to day, like everybody was an artist. So I got that heritage, and I kind of utilized the Western style of art and kind of create an amalgamation of both of them. So I can kind of reach out to both the masses, not only the Indian mass, but also the Western, the American people out here who loves art, who loves Asian style of art.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Gopaal Seyn. He's an artist born in India. He's settled here in Houston area. And okay, let's take one of these pictures and maybe explain to us what is exactly your style of art. And let me see if I can pause this. Okay, wait, this would be a good one. And what is going on in your mind when you're drawing this, and how long it takes you, and things like that? Walk us through your life journey when you created this art.
Well, I'm drawn towards a human figure, and mother. Like, I love my mother, and I think whatever I am today is because of my mother. So, so I think mothers kind of represent unconditional love to me. Like, it cannot be deleted, it cannot be won. So to me, here I'm portraying a mother out here who's not only a caretaker but also a caregiver. So here she is taking care of that baby. She is keeping one of her eyes closed. So she's like is showing the introspection of this woman. She's very strong, whereas the other eye is open. She's always watching her kid. If you see that other eye, she's always watching that kid. Whereas she not only takes care of that baby, she's also taking care of the house chores. Like, she's a fisherwoman, getting water with fishes out there. You can see that this is like, as if she works in the farm.
In the field.
In the field also. So that's like a caretaker and caregiver. And this is, I put in which is the first alphabet in Bengali, which is like, she takes care of the education. So it is a whole picture of a motive of unconditional love, and here the swan, as you can see, the other hand has become a swan, which again represents beauty and sensuality. Black swan represents beauty and sensuality. So it's a lot going on in this picture. It talks about sensuality of a woman. It talks about the unconditional love of a mother. And it also talks about she's not only like this beautiful woman and a mother, but she is also there taking care of the kid, being a fisherwoman and a farmer.
100 years, I would not have been able to imagine all these things. If you give me an electrocardiogram, being a cardiologist, I could say, okay, he's got a heart enlargement, irregular heart rhythm, heart attack, or like electrical abnormality and all this. But there is so many things in an artist. See, that's one of the unique things. People who buy art or watch art, how much can they really appreciate what the artist is trying to portray?
Well, the one of the key things which I do is to evoke a feeling. So whenever you see my art, it evokes a feeling. One thing I learned from the classical or Flemish style or the European style, they kind of use a motif. So either a circle or a square or a triangle in their art form. So you can see when I started this art, I drew a circle, and from there I created those. So I will be honest with you, Dr. Nikam, when I start drawing, I had no idea what I was drawing.
I see,
I would start off spontaneous. I wanted to evoke the feeling of unconditional love, and I started putting the mother and the kid.
Even your thoughts are almost, I would say, blank.
Exactly. That is the beauty of creation. That is true creation to me, is that when you let your mind flow, like Picasso said, let your spontaneity go, let your creation get through, and automatically it balances itself and creates a beautiful painting. Yes, I don't expect my audience to know everything about art, but when I explain to them, they say, wow, just like you. They were like, wow, didn't realize
I know.
there was so much going on.
So much information.
Yes. So again, when you study art, you realize that the artist had so many things going on, and it is hard, like just like unfortunately like literary, like writings, you can read it and you can understand, whereas art is
that's why I was asking that particular question. Even those people who are willing to pay a substantial price, how much can they grasp, or do we have to explain to them?
Well,
like
it becomes a good
Huh?
it becomes a good coffee table conversation. So when they buy this art, they can explain this is what's going on, and everybody is wowed by the colors. And see my thing is that I want to evoke a feeling of happiness. If you see a lot of the artists, they do a lot of beautiful artwork, but it's very dark, because most artists have gone through very starving and tiring life. Unfortunately, like unlike them, I am lucky and blessed to have a happy life. So I want to evoke a happiness to that. So I think any family would love to put a picture like that, because it kind of shows the unconditional love around. So I do explain to them what I am kind of narrating. Yes, they would get part of it. The more you start experimenting, more you look at, like you said, like you look at a heart, you can say immediately because you've been doing it for so long. Again, if you start loving art and you keep on looking at it, the next one I show you will say, oh, I can see this, I can see that, and slowly I let them take over, because this is my narration to it. I want people to have their own narration to that art, because perception is reality. And that's how I want them to kind of visualize. I want them to get an understanding. They may see a lot more than I am seeing, because it came from nowhere.
And the beauty of this art, as I see it, coming from an Indian background, is the motherly love and affection and motherly duties are universal. I mean, it is seen even in America and all this, where people, because the people I see are married for 50 years, their children, grandchildren, and all this. But it depicts the Indian reflection of, these beautiful colors and the facial expressions, all these things. It gives the Indian touch, our cultural heritage, which is reflected in this art, besides the mother's love and all this. That's fascinating. How do you conceptualize those emotions, and how do you capture those emotions in the art?
Because I'm always drawn towards emotion. I loved the female form, because I think women emotionally are a lot more stronger than men are. When we are angry, we express it, but women don't. They would hold on to that, they keep it calm, and that's how they hold the family together. So I kind of, if you look at other works of mine, I've shown duplicity even in an emotion. Like, one way place she's crying, and the other side she may be happy. She's giving you a very happy face, but inside she's sad and torn apart. So I kind of work on those kind of
reality of life.
So I try to throw that emotion through my art. That kind of pushes me to kind of create different kind of emotion, because to me, that is the most important aspect of creation. And you kind of show, again, I'm showing happiness here, but again, I have shown other places where I'm showing a lover. And you have to understand, a woman takes different kind of roles more better than men does. Their wives, their mothers, their lovers, their businesswomen, so they are taking up so many roles, and they kind of express their emotions.
It's also evolving with time and education and change of place and things like that. Even Indian women,
Absolutely. So, everyone in their place, like she is a businesswoman here. If you look at it, she's like a fisherwoman. So I am showing the different aspects of a woman. And I really respect women, because I feel men get a lot of credit for a lot of things we do, but the women is the backbone of our society. So I want to represent women and show them, all the great things they do for us, and support our family. Because today, the Indian community today is so strong because of the women, because of the family we have.
I think that kind of women are the main fabric that hold the entire family together. It's been for generations, decades.
generation.
Thousands of years.
And even if you look at Houston, we're proud of, because even in this country, if you look at the conservative, they're holding on to the family structure, and that's what I'm trying to portray, which I believe even the Americans will appreciate in this kind of art.
That's why I said this art is so unique. Like if you were to get all world art pictures together, it clearly reflects a universal love of mother to her children, and her duty, and to hold the family together. But at the same time, this is the Indian depiction of
universal love, you can say.
This
yes, absolutely.
Walk me through. I mean, what kind of, is this a oil paint or water
This is
paint?
acrylic painting.
Acrylic.
Yeah, it's on canvas. It's acrylic painting, and it has a lot of texture. Here you're looking at on a TV screen, but I do a lot of texture work, so it kind of creates the 2-dimension, 3-dimension format of an art. So I do work. What I do, I take a lot of time to create the groundwork, the background, and then I put the art in it. So when I'm traveling, as I said, I do like quick sketch work, which is like in 10-15 minutes, I would do the sketch work. And then when I go back, I will kind of use that as a foundation and put it into the picture.
How long an art like this would generally take?
See, art to me is that sometimes it may take an hour, 2 hours, and it could be. You've seen me doing the Jugalbandi with Pandit Jasraj, a couple of weeks ago, and I did it 35-40 minutes. So I've done works like that, but it could be 8 hours, 10 hours. So it is not like, to me, like artwork. Like, I'm sure you do surgeries, it could be like 5 minutes and could be worth a lot for to that person, especially who's on the operation theater. But the same way with art, it comes with a lot of practice. And today I can create art really fast. But in the beginning, the creation part is the most important part.
So, like, do you have a perception of the entire art, or does it evolve?
It evolves. It completely evolves. See, that is the beauty of my art, is that my strength is creation. I can take from nothing, from a white canvas, and you've seen me a couple of times like working on it, white canvas, and I can create something. Like, I would put in like some kind of a music. I usually listen to Yanni music. So I listen to Yanni, but that day Pandit Jasraj was playing a beautiful number, and I was doing something else. And our music kind of pushed me to create like a family kind of union. So that even happens as I'm letting my subconscious take over. It kind of places things. It tells me what to do, and I just kind of follow it.
That's fascinating. So what size is this art?
This was a 36 by 36. So it's like 3 feet by 3 feet.
Oh, that's a pretty big one.
Yeah. Actually, I did a show of this in India. Actually, I was in December. I was in India, and I have done a month-long show, of my art. There was like 100 pieces, and I did a solo show from December, all of December, and was very well accepted, and it was shown on newspapers and stuff like that.
In fact, that was going to be my next question. Let's shift gears for a second, and then we'll get back to a couple of other art pieces. That was my next question: is how does an artist get his art to somebody who appreciates it? In other words,
I think
like the potential admirer or the buyer.
Well, it's an excellent question, and Dr. Nikam, this is the biggest challenge for most artists, because artists are creators. They are not marketers. So it is very hard for us to do that, because here the product is me. If you tell me to sell like a phone, I can do that. But if I have to sell myself, it's very hard. So you need somebody else to promote you. That is very important. So, but I've been blessed today to be born in the world of social network. I have Facebook, I have Instagram, Twitter. Through that, I have a lot of fan followings all over the world, and they look at my art, and then they would I just sold a few months ago to, in Portugal. I sent a couple of pictures. She loves my art, and she's been bugging me to create something for her. And I created 2 art for her and sent her. So, and even I've done it, all over the country. So that happens because of the social network. For me to get a promoter to promote it is very difficult. But again, I've been blessed. I put in art for different competition. I won, my art was featured in the London magazine, Hidden Treasure. Then, in Greece, I had, represented. Then in Milan, Italy, I got represented. So, but that was just completely, I would say I was blessed to get that opportunity to show it. But very few artists don't even get that kind of opportunity.
So do you routinely show your pieces in art shows? Are there like well-known art shows? Like I went to Houston Auto Show, which is one of a major attractions.
I wish I could. I wish I would say I do, but you know, again, as you know, I have a very like hectic job, in the hospitality industry, so I travel extensively. I would love to do at a later date. I've been very well respected in the Houston community, so I'm doing a little bit more locally, but I'm doing shows in India, which was a big thing, doing a solo show in India, to be even given an opportunity in Imami, which is again a big company. And then I'm slowly talking, I'm planning to kind of do a show in Scotland, in Paris. So, again, I'm getting those leads and I'm slowly breaking. I'm taking my time to build myself up because I'm not in a rush. Again, because I have a profession, I could do that.
If I was starving, since you travel, that reminds me, my daughter started a French antique store here in I-10 and Blaylock. She goes to France and she has all these antique places, like a whole shopping flea market. She collects a lot of interesting items and she brings it. Since you travel, every time you go to a new city, you find out, is there an art show or is there an art gallery?
Well, I do go to art museums a lot, like just to look at, or sometimes galleries, because my kind of a job, I spend like a day or two, so I don't have much time. But if I have a little scope, usually the museum is closed in the evening, but if I have half a day, I will go when I am in New York, I will go to the New York Museum. Those are things I do, and I look at some galleries, and I kind of, through my hospitality industry, kind of introduce myself as an artist because they know me as an executive in the hospitality industry. So I kind of push myself through that, but really I have not done much. Whatever I've got the opportunity to showcase my art is through Facebooks and Instagrams and social medias.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Gopaal Seyn, and he is an Indian artist who is settled here in Houston. We are talking about his art and his journey through art experience. Okay, let's look at another picture and maybe we can learn something more about your style of art. Okay, explain this to us and what's happening here and what was going on in your mind.
Okay.
I don't know if people can see. Yeah, I think they should be able to.
They should be able to see?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, few things. Here, if you can see, there's a face of a man.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, I should know it.
There's a face of a man.
Yeah.
And there's a face of a woman. You see that?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And again, as I said, I kind of use motives. So I would start off with circles, circles of life.
Okay, yeah.
So I show here, I'm showing the relationship between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So it kind of represents their relationship. Here, I'm showing the shyness of the woman, on the side.
Yeah.
Here you see the peacock. Peacock represent fidelity.
Yeah.
It shows beauty. It shows relationship. That is the symbolism, peacock. Here, if you see that I've put the peacock upside down. Why I'm saying is that because we are used to seeing things in a certain kind of way. Peacocks, you're supposed to see it straight.
Yeah.
I put it, so I'm saying for a relationship to be strong, you got to understand each other. You got to kind of look at each other in a different way to build that relationship stronger. So that's what it represents out here. And also here I put in a lamp, which is the wisdom of life.
Yeah.
So it represents that, you got to kind of, again, build up that kind of understanding, to have that understanding between each other to build a great relationship. So it's all about this painting is called Relationship.
What is
it's by 24 by 36. It's also a bird. Again, birds again represents beauty itself. I'm showing and if you cannot see it it's it's not come out right way, but here's a pigeon out there
I can
the
see
big
the
screen.
face with the beak. Yes.
So pigeon again, people who knows pigeons, even if you set pigeons go, they will come back to home at the evening. So I'm saying even in a relationship, you can have fights and arguments, but you have to come back
at the
together
end of the day.
end of the day. So that's what it can
How do you pick the colors? Do they represent any particular from an artistic point of view?
Well, again, as I said, I'm a spontaneous artist. So at that point, whatever
I see.
I am feeling through that, and the emotion or is going through me, or the kind of feeling I want to evoke, the colors come out. So I'm not saying I'm going to have to put red here, I have to put green here, I have to put like crimson here. I'm not thinking that way. So as I'm going, I'm in a trance and I'm creating it. As I said, I know this is what I want to kind of show, but I don't know what I am doing. So I go in a kind of a transcendental mood that I can create things without even kind of questioning myself. Why am I putting red? Or this is not looking right. I don't even question my subconscious. Once I do it, that's it. That's the best thing I should have done.
That's fascinating. So in other words, you create a story and you put it in the form of a picture, and your story is being created as you're doing the picture.
Absolutely.
So there's no written script saying, okay, this has to go here, this has to go there.
That's why I write, like, in my latest thing, I wrote blog that, my art is a poem and I write with my brush. So again, yes,
that's fascinating.
Yes, so I want to create or tell a story through my art. Again, as you said, everybody may not be able to understand, but here I am, and I can give the lead. And people who, when look at this original art, they will see a lot more things going on.
That's
because it's like modern poem. The writer or the
interpretations
poet,
can be
exactly. So whatever is going on in your life, you will interpret it in a different way than somebody else. And that is the beauty of art. That's why art is considered the higher creative form. Because even Rabindranath Tagore started painting at the age of 62. Because when he was asked, why did you paint so later and you've been writing poems at the age of 4, he said, art is a much more higher creative form, and only of great wisdom and understanding you can create. Because here it's very subliminal. So you're creating a surrealism through this, and you have to kind of portray it and let the people, the audience, interpret it in their own way.
That's fascinating. That brings us to two topics. Number one is there any age limit as far as someone getting interested in the field of art? And before you answer that question, I want to say, I write stories. I mean, I don't write pictures, but I write stories, and I have written 4 books, and this is my latest book, which is Nik Nikam's Nik's Comedy Clips.
Wow.
So I want to give this to you as a gift.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is all the jokes I have collected, which I have used in front of audience.
Awesome.
And it is the story of my life as a doctor, involved with patients, hospitals, and all different scenarios.
Very nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get it, let's show this again. And you can get it from Amazon.com. It's only like $3-4 for a Kindle version, or you get a print version for $12.99. That's the part of the book. As I said, that's why I was asking, we write down in a freehand, then we type it, then we edit it 100 times to get it right. And then, of course, if we have to present, we have to really memorize and practice and all these things. But as an artist,
you're on stage right away.
It is just only one stroke.
Yes, you're on stage.
That's
so you're immediately on stage. You have to extempore and do it, create your art. That's why, again, as I said, art is a higher creative form, and only if you are kind of let your subconscious take over, that you can create balance and create spontaneity through my art.
So is there an age limit as to, at what stage people can start?
Well, Dr. Nikam, I am the biggest example of that. I started art at a much, though I started painting at a very early age, but, professionally, I started at a much later age. And that is, I'm the biggest example that there is no age limit for art anytime. And I think, art to me, and I teach a lot of adults, as you know, other than kids, and people love my classes because I kind of let them. I believe everybody is innately creative, and as you get older, and you want a hobby. You have a very stressful life, and you're doing other things. And if you are very creatively, you love art, it's a great place to kind of meditate. It's like meditation for you. It de-stresses you completely. So I feel like a lot of these students I get, because they want to kind of set themselves free and have their own time away from family, friends, just be themselves and kind of create their own. So that's what I push in my classes, which I do on weekends in
I see.
Sugarland.
Yeah.
So again, if you want to be a professional artist, again, the as I saying, it's a harsh process. It
That's
takes a
right. Yeah.
long time. Again, I think that depends on your destiny, I would say, like if you want to be a professional. But as an artist, you can start anytime and you can enjoy it for the rest of your life, because at least
That is
if
true.
you have your eyes and your hands moving, you could be
You can
painting.
do painting for.
Yeah,
That's why Grandma Moses, I think she started when she was 75 years
exactly.
or so, and she went on painting until she was well past 90s.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are talking about art. And my special guest is Gopaal Seyn. He's an Indian artist, and he's settled here in Houston, Texas. Oh, let's give out, if people want to get in touch with you, give out your contact information. We should have done that.
Yeah. Well, if the best way to reach me is my cell number is 832-816-3383, and my email address is Neil, NEILSEN 65 @gmail.com. You can check on my website, my art, at redbluearts.com. It's REDBLUE arts, ARTS.com.
That's fascinating. So, if someone wants to get started in learning art, where do they start?
Are you talking about kids or adults?
I would say middle age.
Middle age. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's when a new student comes and they say, I love art, but I don't know where to start.
That's right.
I kind of let the adults say, like, what is your favorite subject? What do you like to draw? Like, because I don't want to dictate what they want to do. What medium like interests you? Like you said, you could be doing sketching, you could be doing watercolor, you could be doing pastel, you could be doing acrylic, you could be doing oil. So I let them choose their medium, I let them choose their subject, and then I tell them to give them a sketch paper, and I tell them, draw whatever you want to, what you're trying to create. And then I would kind of help them. My job is to kind of let them, coach them and guide them a little bit, but I let them create their own thing. Because even with kids, when I'm teaching, my job is to kind of, it's like being the coach of Tiger Woods. So he's a better player than the coach even.
I know.
So I believe, like, the kids I'm teaching, they may turn out to be better artists than I am. So who am I to say what they should do? I kind of tell them, okay, follow this. What about this? So I kind of give them those guidelines, and I let their passion, their feelings, their creativity take over and create a beautiful piece.
Like unleashing the potential from within.
And that's where I think I am different from most teachers, because we tend to kind of push people to do our way. I don't think there is no right way or wrong way. Some may be a realist artist and they want to do their own. So I let them do that. If somebody likes abstract art, I help them with abstract work. So, I just help them build their strength, their confidence in art, and create their own. And they get wowed after that. Oh my God, I did that. So I believe in that, because I think, like, we are all creative by ourselves.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Nik Nikam. You're watching the Triple N Talk Show, and my special guest is Gopaal Seyn. He's an artist. He's settled here in Houston. Okay, let's talk about your involvement with the community services.
Well,
you're using art for your community services.
Yes. I've been, like, doing quite a few shows in the last couple of years. As you know, I do a lot of live shows. Again, I'm blessed to create art instantaneously. Between 45 minutes, I could create a complete artwork. And I felt like, I am a philanthropist at heart. And I felt that was the best way that I can serve the community who gives me so much, to kind of do these kind of charity work. So I've worked with different kind of charitable organization where I created live art pieces. Even I have donated art pieces, as you know, and it's been auctioned and sold. So it serves both purposes. It makes me feel great when I can sell art is sold in my name, and it goes to another, it gets a home. To me, like, all my art pieces are like my children. So they are getting a new home where they are, like, spreading the word of love. And as you have seen, most of my arts are very vibrant, very happy. So I want that vibrancy.
Especially the art that you were doing from scratch at India House Gala. Luckily, I was able to capture right from the time the paper was white to the time it was finished and auctioned off for more than $2,000. I mean, that's a small amount, compared to the amount of effort that's gone into that. So I've taken all these pictures, so I'm going to give it to you.
Sure, thank you.
And
I would love
that's a great way to really, help the community through our passion.
Yeah, because see, also, as I said, like, I'm in a unique profession. We have very few, hardly any Indian-born American artists in this community. So I want to be like, get my name out, so people who are interested in art and who want to showcase good Indian, like, an amalgamation, like, Indian and Western kind of a form of art. I would love to create something. Again, I stick to that. Like, before I've done, like, as I said, portraits, but that's not it. I have a signature style. And I believe in creating value-added art. I believe my art today sells for a particular price, but in few years, it will be a lot higher price then. So that's what I want to create, so that I can be known for my artwork even after I'm not living.
That's fascinating. We were just talking about A.R. Rahman, whose music got the Oscar nomination, and he also won the
Oscar.
So,
again, like getting the break at the right time.
How do you get our Indian art with a Western blend to the mainstream Americans? Or the world, actually? There's a lot of market in Europe and maybe also in Australia.
Well, I have a love for European style of art. There's a lot of great artists, as you know, the Picasso and Van Goghs. I've studied them at length. And as I said, like, I'm approaching different European countries. There are some companies who promotes India, I believe, international artists around the world. So I'm reaching out to them and I'm looking at galleries. The challenge is like sending the art there, because it has been like, you have to pay a tremendous amount of money for shipping. You have to get insurance, because, art could get it can be damaged very easily. So there's a lot of cost involvement. So it's like I'm slowly kind of building up the rapport where people will be ready to take my art and do all the needful, and whatever they sell, they get a commission out of it. That's, to me, is a better approach than trying to pay a tremendous amount of money to do it, and then you have to ship it back. So it is hard. So that's why I'm using social network a lot to promote my artwork. And I want to get known, because I want to be known through the people who buys my art, and they will be my best, I would say, will be the best people to promote me. Like, I've been teaching
ambassadors.
Exactly. Like, I was looking for the word ambassador. I've been teaching art for 18 years. I've never, ever promoted my art. And now I have a waiting list in all my art classes.
I see,
because the parents have been the biggest ambassador for my art.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Indian art in the Western world. My special guest is Gopaal Seyn. Okay, if you were to start all over again, what would you do differently?
As far as art goes?
Yes.
Oh, I would start way earlier. I wish I had, like,
that's a very important point, especially those who want to get into art.
Yes. I wish I had started, because, again, I would honestly say I didn't have the confidence at that time. I always got carried away that people were saying, oh my God, you cannot do it. So I've got tired of people saying, no, you cannot make a living through art. I truly, truly believe that you can make a very good living, if not better living, through art. And, if you do, as Warren Buffett says, if you do what you really love, you can excel in it. And I truly believe, when I spend hours and hours, I would be painting for 10, 15 hours at a stretch, and would never feel tired. Whereas if I was working for 15 hours, I will feel very, very tired by then.
Well, we doctors do it all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't even get paid like we are supposed to.
But again, as an artist, you're a freelancer until unless you're working for someone. So you have to kind of create your best work. You are being a business person, but that's where the challenge comes with most artists. They are creators, but they don't market themselves.
See, that's why all these music artists, they have to have an agent. Because they can only get on the stage and do what their talent is. Use their talent, but as far as going and setting up the stage and microphones and all these things.
The musician is a little easier, because it's like you work in a group a lot of the time. Most of the musicians.
That's right.
But art is like you're a one-man show. You're a one-man army. You have to do everything on your own.
One person show. We want to be politically correct.
Well, now you see, like that's why you're writing comedy books. Like, no, but because you are the writer, you're the script writer, you're the director, you're the producer, you're the singer. So I am doing.
And this is all in real time.
Yes. So all of that I have to do myself. So it takes a lot to paint. Like, like you asked me how long it takes. It's like the main work may take not that much, maybe like 10-12 hours, but from the creation, from the point of bringing that to create, that's where, like, I'm thinking about it. And so when this kind of blossoms up, I will start sketching. So it could be I'm on a plane. I don't do it when I'm driving. I don't want to. But, I'm always
if you're on a plane, you can use your iPad and use a color.
Oh, I do that all the time. All the time. So that I do all the time because, see, there is no time. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would start drawing because that's
how I wrote some of the jokes in this book. I don't know, they just come like an explosion, like a volcanic eruption, like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
At least now I have an iPhone where I can record that. And it comes so fast and it evaporates so fast.
Exactly.
If you don't capture it in those 10 seconds, it's gone.
That's why they say Salvador Dali used to sleep with a pen and paper in his hand. So he will wake up and he would draw something because otherwise you'll forget. You're absolutely right. It comes and it goes. So you have to let your subconscious tell you what to do and you create that. And then you can kind of develop on it and build up on that.
You said it's never too late to start anything. Now, looking forwards, what do you see in the future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
As me as an artist? Well, I've slowly built up a brand for myself. I still have a long way to go, but I've done, like, I'm doing shows. I'm being accepted by the community. I'm doing, like, I plan to do more international. This year, I'm planning to do another show in India. So, it's a long drawn process. It won't happen in a day. But again, I need that right break, because every well-known artist, every great artist went through a very starving period and then they got a break. And then they were accepted and everybody went, whoa, this is awesome. So it's a question of getting, as you said, getting the right audience for accepting my art. It's also because art is all about, like, they need to have the appreciability and the affordability for art. Because I can appreciate an art, but if I cannot afford it, yes, you will be like a fan of mine, but you cannot buy the art. Similarly, like somebody can afford it, but doesn't appreciate art, they will never buy it.
I know.
So getting that, it's a very small percentage because they say, like, 0.1% of the people buy 99% of the well-known art.
That's right. Yeah. Since you talked about the length of period, the dormant period, it is so long. This is saying that the Chinese bamboo tree, you have to water it for 5 years.
Exactly.
Nothing happens, and in the next 6 months, it will grow 60 feet.
I was almost going to, right now, I was thinking of giving you this example. Exactly. So because I don't know when to stop watering, I cannot give up. You have to keep on going. You never know the next year when in my right break will come. So I'll keep on going, and then I will let destiny take over.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Gopaal Seyn, an Indian artist here in Houston area who is bringing Indian culture, heritage, and the art to a blend of a Western style. And you can see a lot of his arts. Let's look through some of these pictures before we conclude. That's another one.
This is again like showing like a mother. Again, a lot of my, as I told you, I love mothers because it shows unconditional love, and here it's showing the agony and ecstasy of a pregnant woman. As you can see,
I can see that there's a baby. That's one thing can identify as a doctor.
But it shows, like, here again, it's showing duplicity, and I shouldn't use the word duplicity, but double emotions.
I mean, that's real though.
Yes.
Because a lot of us are hurting so deeply inside. As a doctor, I can tell you. In fact, I am working on my next book, which is Stress-Free Life. And there we talk about, what you put up in front is not what's happening inside your heart and your mind and soul. I mean, you may be deeply hurting, but that's the one you need to heal. What you show outside is meaningless.
We
That's
should
just
work
for the
together,
television,
Doc.
like here.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing out here, is showing the agony and ecstasy.
This
No,
is
that's
kind of,
not the other one.
yeah. This one. This is the most recent one.
Yeah, this is like, I kind of, again, you can see the motive of a love.
Yeah.
And here I kind of picture like a man and a woman in a sensual position.
That's fascinating. Okay, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Nik. Maybe you can give out your contact information if somebody wants to get in touch
Yes.
with you.
Again, my full name as Dr. Nikam is Gopaal Seyn, but I also go by Neil Seyn as an artist. I'm known as Gopaal Seyn, but my corporate name is Neil Seyn, and I can be reached at 832-816-3383. You're welcome to check out my art on my website at www.redbluearts.com, or you can email me at Neil, Neil Seyn, Sen65@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gopaal. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen, you have been watching Tomorrow.
Right, I know.
That is February 20. That's a very major
Yes,
debate.
absolutely.
And I'm going to be getting you behind the scenes stories.
Well, I would love
What's
to hear
happening actually in the newsroom, in the spin room. I don't know what the spin room is. I'm going to find out. Anyway, so we're going to be back next Wednesday at 6 p.m. again, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gopaal.